Hey friends, it's Sandy with Trinity Stamps, and today I have the most adorable gift card holder. I was working on another card using this die set, and I realized that the little slit in that yogurt cup is the perfect size for a gift card. So I thought I would create a card using that as my gift card holder. All right, let's get started. For this card, I'm using a number of different dies and stamp sets. I'm using the Froyo Friends die set, the Clean Cut Layers A2 rectangles, the Dainty Scallop rectangles, Sentiments Froyo die set, and Greetings Froyo cards. Here I'm using the Dainty Scalloped rectangles die set with some white cardstock. That's going to be my center layer on this card. Next, I'm using one of the rectangles from the Clean Cut Layers A2 Rectangles Set A. I believe it's the second one in from the outside. Here I have all of my layers cut. I've got my outside layer, which is 5.5 by 4.25. My scalloped layer is just a little bit inside that measurement. And then I've got my light lavender color on top. I want to create my gift card holder, so I'm going to be using the shape from the Froyo Friends die set that is the full yogurt cup. That's including the yogurt on top and the cup at the bottom. I'll cut that out of white cardstock. I've used the other pieces in the die set to cut out the yogurt cup and the actual yogurt on top. These are going to be glued on top of the base I just cut out. Next, I'm going to cut that swirl accent out of a piece of lilac paper that I have some rip and stick on the back of. I want to add a little bit of dimension to that swirl, so I'm going to use one of my Sidekick blending brushes, and it's got a little bit of wilted violet Distress Oxide ink still left in it, and I'm just going to hit those edges just to give it a little bit variation of color. I'm going to very carefully peel that up off of that cardstock, and I'm going to place it on my little piece of yogurt here. Now this die does go up to the very outside edge of that yogurt die. I also used what was left in my little Sidekick brush to dust up the edges of that white cardstock background. I just felt like it was a little bit too harsh. To give my little yogurt cup a little bit of dimension, I'm going to use some Villainous Potion Distress Oxide ink just to dust up those side edges. To start building the gift card holder, I'm going to use some liquid glue around the outside edge of that yogurt cut. I want to be very, very careful not to go into the cup and not to get any glue underneath that slit, because that's where the gift card is going to slide into and rest. Now for the top yogurt part, I don't have to really worry about where I put my glue because nothing is going to tuck underneath it. When I place it on this background though, I am going to tuck it ever so slightly into that little slit area just to give it a nice dimensional look. I'm going to start building the base for this card front. I have my lilac paper that's cut, and I dusted up those edges with a little bit of the wilted violet Distress Oxide. I'll go ahead and get that glued onto my Dainty Scallop rectangle. And this is where I decided that that background just was not doing it for me. There was nothing to it. It was just too blank. So I decided I would go ahead and stencil. However, I had already glued it onto that Dainty Scallop. So I've got it on my little crafty mat here. I covered up the white scalloped with the mint tape. And now I am using the Stars and Sprinkles stencil set, and I'm just going to use 2 of those layers, and I'm going to use 2 different colors of ink on it to try to give it a little bit more definition and just interest. So I'm going to use Shaded Lilac for the first layer, and then I'm going to use, I believe it's Villainous Potion. It really doesn't matter actually that you change the colors because they were awfully close when I got done doing it. But I just think that added a whole lot to that background, so it was worth the extra effort. After I peel off that mint tape, I decide that looks much, much better. It just definitely adds a lot to the card, and it's just a little fix. I'm using the Sentiments Froyo die set, and I'm going to be laying those out on a piece of white cardstock that I have a little bit of rip and stick on the back of, and I'll get those cut out. I've cut out the shadow for those sentiments. Now I'm going to cut out the letters, and I'm using that same dark purplish color that I did for the very outside edge of my card front. This paper also has rip and stick on it. I wouldn't try to do these without it. It's a game changer. Now I'm going to add all of those little letters to my white shadows. All right, this is the one tool I absolutely have on my work surface at all time. It's the pickup tool. And I use that to not only lift up my dies, but I also use it to pick up those little letters. This tool is as much of a game changer as the rip and stick is. It just makes this die cutting process so much easier. So if you don't have one, I highly recommend that you pick one of those up. Now I've got my card base glued together, and I've got to figure out where I want to put this little gift card holder. So I am actually going to put my gift card in my holder because I want to make sure that when I place it on my card, that the gift card isn't extending past the parameters of my card. On this card, I decided it would look super duper cute to have that yogurt cup kind of at an angle. So that's exactly how I placed it. Now I want to arrange my little sentiments over to that right hand side. And so what I usually do is I start with my first word and my last word, and I kind of get those lined up exactly where I want them to fall on the card. That way the words in between those two, I can space out so that they look right. In the Froyo Friends die set, there's a die that cuts out a little face that fits perfectly on the yogurt cup. I wasn't going to put it on, but I thought, oh no, that just tied the whole card together. So I just used the same color, the same lilac color as I did on that stenciled piece, and added it onto my cup. For the inside of the card, I have a piece of white cardstock cut to 5 1/4 by 4, and I am using the Greetings Froyo Cards stamp set, and I just selected a few of the little sayings from that stamp set, lined them up, and then I just added a few little hearts just to kind of tie together the cuteness from the front of the card. And I'll go ahead and use just a little bit of liquid glue to get that piece adhered to the inside of my card. All right, now to make sure that everything is just right on this card, I want to make sure that my gift card is going to slide into that yogurt cut. I think this is such a cute card because once the gift card is gone, you still have an adorable card to keep. Hopefully you keep it. Also, off camera, I did decide to add on a little spoon at the bottom, and there is a spoon in the die set. Unfortunately, I just didn't videotape adding that little piece to the card. I will list all the products that I used to create this card down below. Make sure you give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and subscribe to my channel if you want to be notified of future videos. You can also follow me on Instagram at Sandy Cogdill or on my blog, sandycogdilldesigns.com. Thanks for spending a little bit of your time with me today, and until next time, bye-bye.